And then I am going to share my screen. And let's see if I can bring it up very quickly. And here we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the biggest changes coming in GovCon in decades. And yes, it is decades that these changes are being ushered in, and what we can do to make it easier, what we can do to be prepared, what we can do to win contracts, maybe even more contracts than what we could before. So let's talk about that. And my goal is to have you on and off now. This is definitely where I want you to ask questions, because this is where I want you to get a lot of your answers, if at all possible. So I'm going to give you the information. Then you can make sure you ask questions in between. You can ask any questions at the end. And then I'm going to tell you what I'd like to share with you if you would like to learn more of what you can do for where all the changes are going in. So my promise to you is to break down what is changing, how AI can definitely assist you in this, and some of the things you want to make sure that you are already prepared for it. So let me go ahead and move this over here so that I can admit in. Okay. So you're already prepared for what the changes are in 2025. And they're quite a few. All right. So let's get started. So we're going to talk about today, what is GSA, General Service Administration? What are the exact changes that are going to occur starting October 1st, 2025? How will they affect small businesses like yours? What you should do to prepare, and what next steps we're looking to do for you. Okay. So first, let's go into what is GSA. So GSA is your General Service Administration. And GSA has been around forever, for a long, long, long time. They are one of the main ones that purchase a lot of large items, like large category items. And large category items are items, and let me see if I can kind of go through this a little bit, and then we're going to go to the actual GSA so we can look at some of their, look at the website and look at what we mean by large, their categories. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of go through this. I'm your host, Mrs. M. And at the end of this, my goal is for you to be a lot more confident, hopefully, in knowing you can do this, but you are going to have to make some changes and adjustments. So that is exactly what I want you to know. So I've been doing this for a while. Our students have been fortunate to win millions of dollars, over 300 million and counting, even in this environment. And we have lots of individuals that have won. So definitely check out what they've done on our website. You can look at our YouTube channel. I was in the Air Force for 12 years, got out, start doing government. And of course, where you were, is it the right fit for me? Is this something I want to do? How hard is it? And so those are the questions we have now. And we want to make sure that we're understanding, can we still make money in government? Honestly, not what people say, but can we really still make money in government? And is it going to be too hard? Like, am I going to have to invest so much money before I even see an ROI, return on my investment? And all the things that I know you are thinking, I know I was thinking it, and even more so now, because there are a lot of changes. And so that's kind of what I want to give you, because I've been doing this continuously since 90, since 2000 up until now. And I've seen a lot of changes, but I've never seen as many as now. And I have to say that I've been doing this, 25 years. I've never seen as many changes as now, good and bad. So there are good things about it, but I always like to be honest and transparent and give you the real deal. So we're going to talk a lot about what's going on. You can still do it. I'm going to tell you how and why. And my OBART system, what I talk about, still gonna apply, but it's going to have a twist to it. And this is where a lot of you struggle trying to understand. Now we're still in Q4, and I'm going to tell you when is it going to take effect. So it's going to be grandfathered in the changes I'm going to talk about. So let's kind of talk about, so these are just some photos of us where I love to do a lot of training and sharing in person. And that's kind of where we are with visits to my office and where we are now. So now let's get to what is going on, and we will come back to this at the end. So let me see if I can get to GSA. So let's go to the GSA. Let's see, gsa.gov. So what I wanted to try and get to was their, let's see, GSA categories. Here we go. GSA large categories. So the GSA large categories, let's see if I can get into where they are. Here we go. Let's see if that's it. Now let's go back here. So let's see if here we go, list of GSA categories. So GSA has a list of what they call large categories. And this is what the large categories are. So GSA is General Services Administration. And what GSA does is they buy large groups of items. So if someone is looking to purchase an entire building of office furniture, they would reasonably say, we probably can get a discount if we go on GSA, sort of like Amazon. We can probably get a discount if we go on GSA. So GSA has office management, and it will go into what office management is, and then facilities, and then furnishing, and then human capital, and then they have like information, miscellaneous, professional, scientific, security, transportation, and travel. Those are the categories that they have. And they're broken down into where you would consider your SIN. That's like so similar to like our NAICS codes. So it's like the NAICS codes broken down even further, like subcategories. This has always been the situation. Now, what occurs is GSA says we want to have, we've pre-vetted companies. We want to already have them pre-vetted where we know that there's going to be a price range between here and here. I know that these companies can provide. I know that they can produce. They have past performances, and they have some stability of financial, stability, I guess you would say. So you fill out an application. You guys have probably seen me send out. I've taught GSA how to get on the GSA schedule for the last 2 years. And I have like a little workshop that I send out to you guys where you pay $20 and you can learn a lot about the GSA, but it's a very large workshop. I just gave you guys a very large discount if you just wanted to go on there and look at the preview. So inside of what they do is they gather paperwork. They need various things from you. Do you have to have a past performance to work with GSA? Yes, you do. Did you have to have a past performance? So let's look at what is and what was. Did I need a past performance before to do a janitorial contract? No. It would be hard. You would have to do some marketing. You would have to build relationships, but you could. Can I get a contract now in janitorial with GSA without a past performance? Not unless you're a sub. You cannot work with General Service Administration beginning October 1st unless you are a subcontractor to a prime contractor that is a schedule holder. So I'm going to kind of show you the map of it. Let's see if I can bring this up. After I explain it a little bit, I'll let you look at how it's broken down. So that means that there was a little bit of a wiggle room for people who may have worked somewhere else and they didn't have any kind of experience. They opened their janitorial company or their window, landscaping, IT, nursing, but you didn't have any experience. You could then get someone, so you stayed the prime, you got someone that was the middleman, and they could do the work. You can no longer do that starting October 1st. Starting October 1st, you who are the prime can try and be a sub with someone that's a schedule holder. Is that hard? No. Why is it not hard, Miss M? Because the schedule holders need several things. And this is how I will go into how you can be valuable, where you will have more work than what you could imagine if you start preparing now. So let's look at something else. There was a time I could go to Veteran Affairs. I'm a veteran. A new building just came up in my area. I could walk in that Veteran Affairs building with my business cards. I could kind of go through there a couple of times, build relationships, find the contracting officer that's over that. Contracting officer is the person that would normally put together the scope of work. So I might go in there and they may need an entire IT system put up. So I might go in there with my business cards and I tell them what my NAX code is, which is under IT. And I would tell them that I'm interested in putting in your system for IT or doing the windows or doing something in that building. Depending on the relationship I built, that particular CO, contracting officer, could award me that contract without any bidding. And as long as it was under 250, that was what you heard me talk a lot about, simplified acquisition procedure. Can that still happen beginning 2025? No, that cannot still happen. What can happen is you go in there and you tell them what you are. Let's see. I think I had someone that had a question. You go in there, okay, and you tell them, you go in there and you tell them that you blah, 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 what I just went through the conversation. And then this is what can happen. They will then say, yes, we do have a need. We have a need for this. They have to then forward it to GSA. And GSA will look and see if they currently have a vehicle. A vehicle means one of the many different types of, normally it's going to be what they call an MAS, and that's a multiple award schedule. Most of these large categories are on the multiple award schedule. So the chances of IT not being on here already with multiple companies is slim. The chance of a window company being on here is slim. The chance of a facilities being on here is slim. What may not be on here? Let's say a specialized cleaning. Let's say when it was COVID, if there's an outbreak, if it's something different, if it's a different nursing, then what can happen is they can choose to then say yes, for sure. And they issue a waiver, and there you go. Now, how long would this take? Not long at all. What are the chances of you not being on the schedule? It depends on your NAX code. There are some NAX codes that are very specialized that they will not be on a lot of schedules, and they are going to continue on, probably even doing more business because now everyone else is having to go on the schedule. If that contracting officer comes back and says, there are no schedules for you, then they do a waiver and you keep going. What are the chances of a regular company, small business, not having a waiver? Depending on what your NAX code is. And I'm just being honest with you. So what can you do in a situation like that? There's still going to be chances for the credit card. The under 10,000, that is still going to be available on local situations, meaning you can go to your local VA and you might be able to, that's where relationship is going to come into play. Because if that building manager, that person that does IT, all of that is going to be in their category, and that is going to be where you can use your credit card. So they can use their credit card. So can that opportunity happen? Yes, but it's going to be 10K and under. So you're going to do a lot of 10K and unders for that. No, it's not going to be over 10K. So can I go to my VA and talk to someone and find a landscaping job that I build up the relationship and get? Yes, I can. Can I find something that's just in regular janitorial that's going to be over, um, let's say over 10,000 up to 250,000? The chances of you finding a regular janitorial that you can build a relationship with that contracting officer and walk away with a contract are slim, because it's probably going to fall under a multiple award schedule under GSA. But now, how can you maneuver? So let's look at what you can do. So that's where the change comes in. Everything that's going to be bought starting October 1st is going to go through General Service Administration the same way everything is bought for Defense Logistics Agency through DIBS. DIBS, everything that's bought through DLA has to go through DIBS. So all the products, you notice, go through DIBS. At one time, you had this contracting officer buying, you had that one buying, you had that one buying. They don't want to have all these government agencies buying and just willy-nilly. They want to have it all under one house, just like DLA does, Defense Logistics Agency, and you get your little DIBS card. That's the way it's going to be for GSA, for products and for services. So a lot of the solicitation, I'll explain what's going to happen to the ones on sam.gov. So now we know what we can no longer do. What can we do? So this is what you can do. You can still do the $10,000 and under. Those are still going to be doable. Those are going to be based on the locality, the relationship. You're still going to need your OBART offer buyer. Avenue is going to be the micro purchase, and you're going to definitely build those relationships, and you're going to can do some teaming, because if it's a federal bid, you can do it anywhere, but you might want to do the middleman on that one. You might find something in Texas and you want the middleman. So you can still do the 10K and under. It could be something for 5,000. Didn't have to necessarily be right at 10. And it could be something they want done every month. You can also work with a lot of schedule holders that already are schedule holders. I know a lot of them that work here in the DMV area where I am. Now, why would a schedule holder want to work with you? Here are the reasons. A schedule holder may want to work with you if they have a project that is in Texas and they are located in Florida and they win a bid in Texas. Remember, these are still federal contracts. So they might win a bid in your area, and they want a smaller subcontractor to do it. You would be the one to do that. They may want someone that is veteran owned. They want to go after a bid. This happened to a lot of our clients recently this week. They want to go after a bid, and they need to go after a bid that is with a veteran or hub or a small disadvantaged veteran or woman owned or 8A. There are a lot of schedule holders that are not certified. So certifications are going to be your best friend. So there are a lot of schedule holders that are on these schedules. So MAS, and it includes almost a lot of the NAICS codes. And then there's OASIS, which is like Odyssey. That one, Odyssey, that one is one of those that is mainly geared towards like IT. So there's a schedule for almost everyone, but almost all of them fall under that MAS, which is the multiple award schedule. Quite sure you guys NACS code fall under there. And then remember, you find out your SIN, and that narrows it down even more. So if you are a cert, you can become certified. That is where you're going to hold a lot of power. You're going to have as much leverage pretty much as that schedule holder. So they're going to want to work with you, and you're going to want to work with them. You have the cert, they have the schedule. Boom. That's a great synergy. Now, a lot of people are going to be busier than what they could imagine, because a lot of the old bids that can no longer be done the old way, a lot of schedule holders are going to get. And they're going to need people to do the work. And they're going to need companies like yours to do the work. Now, the other way that you can be attractive, let's say a schedule holder is in Texas and you're in Florida. They may not want to buy equipment because this might be a job to them that's small. Some of these schedule holders are big people. So they may not want to get or invest money in something you already have equipment. So you would have an advantage where you maybe you have the equipment and they don't. Maybe you're there and they're not. Maybe they go after a job because they want to eventually get in that area. So they take on a small job and they don't want to have to go back and forth. So they want you to be the middleman. So there are a lot of reasons why, including that they get points by working with the sub. So they get points, they need your certs, they need your locality. Those are three major reasons why. So you can find a list of people that are prime and start building that relationship and getting all the things you need to get together before you even approach them. And if you do it right, you would have more work than you ever could imagine, because they have a lot of what they call task orders. And those are the things I've been talking about that you could jump on Q4 and you would have more work than you could imagine. So for individuals that are really wanting to do it, I believe it's going to pave the way for more money. I believe that. I believe it's going to open doors for people that are local, who have their stuff together when it comes to when it comes to locality. I think it's going to help when it comes to, let's see if there's a question. Let's see, jump down here. So basically with these changes, it's like they're trying to narrow everything down to what's already in our own state for small businesses. Kind of, sort of. They're not trying to narrow it down. It's just that it allows the schedule holder to need you more. It allows the schedule holders to need businesses that are smaller, that they want to, then they have an advantage to want to use them more. So now it gives small businesses more opportunities if they know how to reach out to the prime people, and once again have your CAPE statement in a way that makes them interesting and attractive and positioned. It gives you more opportunity than what you could imagine, because now where everyone else might have been winning those smaller bids, the simplified acquisition procedures, a lot of those are going to be now going under GSA. So now the people that might have been winning those, they're not going to be eligible for them. You're going to already be in position to be lined up with those primes that are going to be starting to get them. And now they're going to now give them straight to you. So that's what I mean by it could be an advantage if you're positioned right. So let me see if I can scroll down here to see if I have another question. Would you give us the information to get in touch with schedule holders? We have the information to get in touch with schedule holders. So let me give you a couple more things. You don't want to get in touch with the schedule holders until you have a plan. because you don't want to just be willy-nilly getting in touch with certain things that I want to make sure that you write down so that you can know what you need to have together for the schedule holders, because a lot of people don't even know this is going on. So we met with our GSA people, and so let's just make sure we recap so we understand exactly what the plan is. Now, when is this going to take effect? October 1st. Well, what happens to all the other solicitations that are on SAM? Everything right now that may be good all the way through 20, contracts that are already on there that are, they've been posted where you don't bid them until November. There's some that are out there. What about a contract you win that you don't start until December and the contract is for 2 years? Everything is valid. So if you found a contract and you don't have to bid on it until, let's say, October 15th, that contract still you can bid on. Anything after October 1st is what's going to be different. So you will not see the same solicitations on sam.gov starting October 1st. Those standalone solicitations, a lot of those will not be on sam.gov. But anything up until that time frame, anything you find, anything that starts in October, anything starts after October, if anything that's posted now up until September 30th, if you want to bid on it, you can. Anything that's due October 15th, as long as it was posted before September 30th, you can bid on it if you want. Anything that's posted new October on is going to be the different. So that'll be different. Now, what are the chances of you winning a waiver? That could be pretty high. You don't know if there's going to be a lot of incidents where they may have to issue a waiver. That government buyer who wants you to get that job, let's say that person you built a relationship with, they give the scope of work to GSA, and GSA says, well, there's something specific in here that you need that you wrote in the scope of work, and we don't have that. Then we're going to issue a waiver where you get to give that person a simplified acquisition procedure. That could happen more than you think it could. They may just have regular landscaping, but maybe more places need specific landscaping. They may have just certain things in IT, and more things need more specific things in IT. So don't discount the power of the waiver. And the way we're going to show people, some of the people, when we teach our students things, we're going to make sure that we show them different types of solicitations that we know are waiver friendly. These are probably going to be some that they're going to have a waiver in. And these could be in all various NAICS codes. It doesn't have anything to be anything that's extraordinary. So there's the waiver, there's the schedule holders, there's you getting on GSA. Don't forget that. GSA takes a minute to get on there, but it's not like you can't start planning on being on GSA. So you can position yourself now where you really get a lot of sub opportunities. You get a lot of past performances. You already position yourself because you do have to have a past performance. It doesn't have to be government, but you do have to have a past performance to get on the GSA schedule. You don't have to have a past performance for a schedule holder to want you. So you cannot have any experience, but maybe you have a certification. Maybe you're in a location that this person wants to take a chance on, and they want to go ahead and ask you to actually do this job. So there are a lot of opportunities there when it comes to some opportunities there. Subbing for a larger prime contractor is one of the key differences for building a stronger past performance. Subbing for anyone is going to build you a past performance. A past performance is just you've done the work. You can do it for someone that's the same size as your building, as your business, or you can do it for someone that's larger. It's just having, when I came into government, I had past performance because I had done commercial work. So I'd done facility support services in a commercial capacity. So that's a past performance. And a lot of individuals that come into government, they leave a job and they don't have any past performance. That's what keeps a lot of people back. So that past performance is very important, and it's becoming more important when you're looking at being a prime first. They're kind of putting it like you've got to play in the kindergarten before you can graduate to the fourth grade. A lot of people are kind of trying to go to the fourth grade without being in kindergarten, or first grade or whatever. So that's what I think they're trying to do. Maybe a lot of people couldn't fulfill contracts. Maybe they had a lot of contracts that they couldn't do because they really didn't have the experience. Now it kind of forces you to either, if you think about it, look at it like this. It's kind of forcing you either to start small. So you're going to start where you're going to do a micro purchase first, or it's going to have you do work with a prime. So it's going to force you to get a past performance under someone. And if it's a waiver and your job is your business, your NACSCO is kind of specialized, then you probably have experience in it. Because I don't think a lot of things would be specialized unless you had experience in doing it. So if you look at it, it kind of puts it in the position where you're going to have to show you can do it before you do it. And if you look at all three of those scenarios. So what's the silver lining? The silver lining is that there you can go on to GSA and you can find the schedule holders. You go GSA, look for schedule holders. On this, go to gsa.gov and look for schedule holders. And you should be able to get a list of all the schedule holders, and you should get a list of what certs they already have. Now, the key is this. There are certain things you want to say to the schedule holders. You want to make sure you have your capability statement looking good. Also, like I said, don't shy away from working on getting your own GSA. Try not to think that you can't be a schedule holder yourself. Could you imagine the power you're going to have if you plan 4 months from now to be a schedule holder, and then you become a schedule holder, and then you work on getting your own cert? You would the sky would be the limit of how much money you can make in your business, because that's going to put you ahead of so many people. So you could first start working on getting yourself positioned to be a sub for one of the primes. Write down what is your special sauce. Do you have certs? Do you think, some localities have more work than others? So you might be a hot commodity just because you don't really have a lot of past performance or no past performance, but it's where you're located. You might be a hot commodity because you're a woman-owned small business, and where you're located, a lot of prime contractors that are schedule holders need that. So there's a lot of things you can do to get positioned. Now, I've given you some steps that you can take. You can look up GSA schedule holders. This is happening. This isn't something that I've made up. This is happening October 1st. So I wanted to make sure that I had GovCon, and I normally talk about AI. And yes, AI is going to help with all of this. Artificial intelligence, I use that to get a lot of fine tuning on some of the things that I know you're going to need moving forward. So what I've offered is we're putting a lot of stuff together. I'm putting a lot of stuff together. I have a showing you everything we just went over, and also the GSA workshop for $197 next week. We're doing it for 3 days. So $197 total. We still have a couple of contracts we're going to try to go after for the end of the year. I'm going to show everyone how to find the schedule holders in their area and how to reach out to them and what to say, because we want to get a head start before a lot of other people, and a lot of people don't know anything about it. So that's why I'm letting everyone know that, or anyone that's a part of my network. So if anyone is interested in that, it's 197. I'm doing a 1 hour, and it's going to be next, let's see, I think it's next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're doing it during lunch. And so what I'm going to share with you is the contracts can still be, some can still be won, because remember, they're not changing the SAM. So there's some, Q4, there are still going to be some buying. You have at least a week and a half left. So we're going to go into Q4 contracts. We're going to look at how to find the schedule in your area. We're going to nail down what you're going to have to offer. Even if you don't have past performance, there's always something that you can look at that you can offer. I'm going to get you waiver ready. So maybe we can come up with some reasons why you're not going to be on the large category. So we're going to look at how we can make you waiver ready, and also look and see what we can do to get you ready to be a schedule holder, and then how to attract the schedule holders. So if you're in place for just in case you want to go after something that's in that simplified acquisition where you can win for up to 250, we can look at some things that we can make a little bit more specialized in your particular NAICS code that would make you maybe a candidate for, well, this company doesn't fit into any of the other MASs, which we call multiple award schedules. We're going to look at the schedule holders, where they are, what they have, and match up who we think would be a good fit, finding several of them. Look at what they're actually selling on the categories for GSA. Then what do you need to do to become a GSA holder? So one whole day we're going to just spend getting the paperwork together, getting the financial statements together, what you need to be. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is how to use AI to expedite and put it all together. So that's going to be 197, and that will be next week. And we're doing it live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if anyone interested, they would need to sign up no later than Friday, and it's first come, first serve. So we have only a couple of slots that we're doing. And here is the link. If you're interested in that, I can put that in here for you. Let me just get down here. Financial statements. Yeah. Financial statements are your profit and loss, your income statement, and your balance sheet. Yep. No, micro purchases are not going under GSA. Micro purchases are standing alone. So that will be one way you can win, but there are going to be a lot of people going after micro purchases. So that's why we're going to talk a little bit about how to be attractive and how do you find, because that's going to be strictly relationships. Those micro purchases are going to be all about who you know. Trust me, they were already who you know, but they're going to be magnified. So that's where AI is going to come in, and how you can gather that information, showing you how to get prepared to be a schedule holder. So you have to have your financial statements. You have to come up with your, there's what we call the compliance. There's like 4 or 5 areas. So if you go online, that particular service could cost between 5 and 6,000. You can look at that yourself. Anyone that's doing GSA schedules, you're looking at 5 or 6,000 if you can get it for 4 or 5, because they make so much money when they're on the schedule, and people know that. So that's part of 197. We're not doing your schedule for you, but we're putting you in the position where you can understand. So if anyone's interested, it's first come, first serve. It is 197. Here is the link, and we're going to look at AI. We're going to look at getting on the GSA. We're going to look at what you need to do for micro purchase, what you need to set up for a waiver, and what you need to do to run out Q4. And all of that using AI as well. And I use ChatGPT. So if anyone's interested, they would need to sign up by Friday at, I think we have Friday at noon, or Friday at, yeah, I think it's noon on Friday, but it is first come, first serve, because we're doing like a working kind of thing. Any questions? Anyone have any questions at all? Anyone at all on anything I went over for you? So I think this could be a really great thing if you look at all the possibilities. I think it's going to be a lot of opportunities. I think it's going to put people that are really want to do this really probably in a better position than what they were before. Because now you can focus on several things instead of 12 things. You can focus on certain things that you really need to do well. So any comments at all? You guys think it's easier, harder? What do you think? Let me see if anyone has a comment. Will you teach us this at another time as well? I probably will. I don't know when, because I know I'll be starting the course again. So these are things that I do before that time, but I'm quite sure I probably will. I just can't say when. Okay. All right, you guys, if you need anything. Now, this is something I've never done before. So this is absolutely brand new. We've never had where they're changing the GSA. So explain more time what the schedule holder main purpose is. So let me make sure, if you've been a student, this is all brand new. I always give my students anything that I've taught before, they get absolutely free. I've never taught this before. So this is something we've got to completely put PDFs together and Word and docs and everything. So we've never taught this one before. So that this, because they just announced this change the last couple of weeks, and we got all the fine-tuned details. So anything that we've taught before, absolutely you have access to. This will be lifetime. We are going to do a whole course, but it'll be $997 when we do the new course, because there's so many things we have to add. We're going to actually teach you how to become a GSA for $997 when we do that. So that's going to be like a whole module, because it's going to be we have quite a few students that want to get on the schedule. So explain one more time what a schedule holder's main purpose is. So a schedule holder is a person that GSA is one of the agencies under the government. And a schedule holder is a person that has been vetted by GSA that says, I'm going to provide this service. And let's say the service is IT. I'm providing IT, and I'm going to provide it between $1,200 for 2 hours to $1,400 to 2 hours. This is my compliance regs. So I comply with everything that's required by the government, and I'm legal and everything's right. These are my financial papers to show that I'm not going to go out of business tomorrow. So that's considered being vetted by GSA. Then GSA says, okay, have you ever done this work before? Yes, I didn't do it for the government, but I did it for Lockheed Martin. Well, we see your financials look good. We see that you have past performance. We see you comply with everything an IT company needs to comply with for installing software. And we see that you can do the work for the price that we feel is a good price. You're going to be one of the people we put to do this work. You're one of them. There may be 7 in DC, 8 of them in North Carolina, 7 in Florida. So they're national. Then there is an agency, Department of Homeland Security, that needs something done. For something done for IT. Now, this is the scope of work. Instead of someone in Homeland Security government contracting officer going out and finding it and getting a company and doing a bid like they used to do, put on SAM, all the things they used to do. Now they're taking it straight to GSA. GSA, we need this. Here it is. And GSA says, okay, we've got 7 people, because remember, agencies are everywhere. So it could be Homeland Security in Louisiana. So we've got 25 people in Louisiana that are schedule holders that can do IT between this and this and this. You wrote down your scope of work and you put down what you think your price is. So your price fits this person. So now that person is awarded that contract. They don't have to bid, they don't have to do anything. They're already on the schedule. So there is no more bidding when you're on that schedule. We know what your price is. Your price fits what this person wants. You've already been vetted. We don't have to now vet you. We don't have to ask you for the cost. We know what your price range is. So it's a faster process and everyone gets it done quickly. That's what schedule holder is. That person's on the schedule and they're normally on there for 5 years. So schedule holders sometimes end up having a lot of money with government because they're used again and again and again. They don't have to go through all that process of putting it out to bid. They got them right there. Oh, they do this, they do that, they do this. That's what it is. Any other questions? Hope I answered your question. Did I answer your question, Ruben? Okay. So hopefully I answered everyone's question. I'll put my phone number in here just in case if you want to give me a call. And if anyone's interested, great explanation. Thank you. You're welcome. Anyone's interested, like I said, this is where you would sign up and we start next week. And I think I've gone over everything we do. So hopefully you guys have a fantastic day and take care and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.